Dragon came out. Let's talk about it. House of the Dragon came out. So warning, potential spoilers ahead. It's only been the first episode, so I don't see how much could really get spoiled for you, but still potential spoilers ahead. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, House of the Dragon is out, and it is supposed to be a prequel to the main Game of Thrones series, taking a deeper dive into House Targaryen, and I guess us seeing the downfall of House Targaryen. So that should be interesting. It premiered, I'm pretty sure, on the 22nd and or the 21st. I can't remember, one of those days. And I tried to watch it. My HBO crashed, so I waited a couple days and watched it later. I'm gonna give the episode a solid 9 out of 10. I think it's good, for sure. I'm not gonna sit up here and be a hater and call it mid and all that other crap, because it wasn't. It was a great episode. I think my issue is that we know how it ends. Yeah, I feel like we know how it ends. So it's kind of hard to like want to get back into like the world of Game of Thrones and really throw myself back in that space when I know how it ends. You know, it was saying about 172 years before Daenerys. So yeah, about 20 years before, 200 years before Daenerys dies, because that's supposed to be 172 before she actually is born. So around about 200, because we can assume Daenerys was what, 20? She was definitely, I think, 20 something when she died. So anyway, because at least in the show she, starts her at like 17 or 18 in terms of age. I know in the books it's completely different, but obviously we talking about the show. I think it's a great show. My favorite house watching Game of Thrones was House Targaryen. Second being Stark, obviously. But I don't know. I really do like it, and I think it's going to be an excellent series. I think it is. They are really playing the game. And I think we're going to see like a bit more of a political side, and a more inside, in terms of all the politics and everything around Westeros. And I think that can be fun and that can be cool. One thing I am missing is just, and this is overall, like I said, they've only dropped one episode. They're going to drop ones every 2 weeks. So if y'all are interested, we can do a review of every episode for every time it comes out. So yeah, like I said, this is episode 1, potential spoilers. I think that in the beginning when I was watching it, there was nothing that really felt like Game of Thrones. I would say like in the first 15 minutes, it felt like a fantasy medieval show, but it didn't give me that Game of Thrones feeling. Soon after I thought that, we started to get into the nitty-gritty. You know, we started to get into pregnancy back in the medieval times, weird relationships, backstabbing, just violence. We started to get into the good old Game of Thrones things. So that nostalgic feeling definitely came back. They did mention the Song of Ice and Fire. They did mention at the end of the episode, like after the credits rolled and everything, Rhaenyra, damn, these names is hard, said something about, oh, I'm supposed to have the prince that's promised or whatever, right? So they're mentioning things like this. Even the father, Viserys, King Viserys, tells his daughter, Rhaenyra, because she ends up becoming his heir at the end of the episode. Like, you know, obviously we know in those times, women, they did not want to see women on the throne, yada, 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 yada. So the next in line, if he couldn't have a son, would have been his brother. But his brother, Daemon Targaryen, is a psycho, of course, like a good bit of the Targaryens, apparently. And, you know, did some bullshit that King Viserys wasn't feeling, and he kicked him out. He kicked him out and was like, yeah, you got to get up out of here because you crossed the line. And he gave that next in line to his daughter. And he told his daughter, look, you know, be warned, there's when winter comes, there's a threat that's coming that is going to threaten all of Westeros. And, you know, you've got to band everyone together, otherwise nobody will survive. Okay, obviously he's talking about the Night King, you know, da 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 da. Okay, great. So you guys are bringing in a lot of these old elements, and you're clearly showing that this is something, you know, these myths and these prophecies and all of this lore has been going on for a very long time. How are you going to tie it together? One of my biggest issues with Game of Thrones at the end last season was the fact that all of these prophecies and all of these things and all of this lore that they introduced in the show literally did not get handled, did not get answered, got completely ignored at the end of it. That was one of the worst things. I kind of felt like, okay, so what's the point? Like, what was the point of this entire thing? And I still feel that way now, unfortunately. I feel like as much fun as I'm going to have going back into this world and really enjoying the show, I kind of feel like, well, what's the point? Because we know how it ends. We know how it ends. But I'm still going to enjoy it for what it is. And that sucks that it was ruined, but I'm still going to enjoy it for what it was. So I think the issue that I'm having now is if you're bringing up these things in the first episode, please do not ignore it throughout the series. Talk about these prophecies. I think one thing I really want to see this show do is answer those questions that were left unanswered in the main series. I think that would really be wonderful to see that come full circle. Again, otherwise, what the hell is the point? I think that would be wonderful to see that. Of course, you know, seeing those old families. We haven't met any Lannisters yet. We have one family that was mentioned that was not mentioned at all in, well, I won't say at all, that I can remember, which was the Hightowers. To my knowledge, they were not mentioned in the main series. I don't want to say it all, probably briefly, but not enough, you know. So yeah, but so far we haven't seen the Lannisters. We've seen Baratheon, we've seen Stark, we've seen the Dornish people, or Dawn. I think Martell was mentioned. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of these families be mentioned, and that is exciting. It is very exciting to be back. It's cool to see dragons again, and to see multiple dragons, and you know, I think that's all cool. And even the Valyrian, if you know, Daenerys was obviously Valyria, blood of old Valyria. They can speak that language fluently, and Daenerys ended up learning it because that's her mother tongue. And to see them now back, the uncle, what is that man name? Daemon, who is a psycho, and the daughter, who I'm assuming the series is kind of revolving around in terms of a main character, Rhaenyra. What is that girl name? We just gonna call her Ray. We gonna call her Ray. Our girl Ray, I'm assuming the show, Rhaenyra? I want to get the name right, but our girl Ray, I'm assuming the series is gonna kind of evolve around her a little bit, you know what I mean? So yeah, she and him speak Valyrian, and I just love hearing that language, and it's very cool. I think it's great to be back. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where it goes. I think it's a solid first episode. They've already, by now, by the time you're seeing this video, which is I think probably what, the 27th, I'm gonna upload it. They've already been renewed for a season 2. They've already been renewed for a season 2. We don't know how long season 1 is gonna be. I'm assuming at least 10 episodes. I'm assuming at least 10. Like I said, releasing every 2 weeks, so that's probably gonna take us through the rest of the year, or at least through the fall for sure. So yeah, they've already been renewed for season 2, so I'm definitely curious to see how far they choose to go with this story. One thing I was informed about, because we're hearing a lot of these names over and over again, and before the show premiered, they made it clear that this was 200 years before Daenerys. Okay, great, but I'm hearing a lot of these names over and over again, and I was very confused. And one of my homegirls was like, telling me how apparently they just did recycle the names. Like they really did, you know, just, what the hell is that? Sorry, I'm looking at something on my fan. A lot of them are like multiple, like there's multiple Rhaenyra's, there's multiple Viserys, there's multiple of all of those people. There are multiple. So when we think about the line of the Targaryens as we know it, there's probably, because I'm like, okay, didn't Daenerys have, she had 2 brothers, Rhaegar and Viserion. That's psycho. And Rhaegar was Jon Snow's father. So I think the generation above that, there was 2 sisters and a brother, and they each had dragons, and they were each, like, they had an incestuous relationship. So it's hard to keep track of, but I guess just keeping that in mind going forward, as a lot of these names are recycled. So I guess as we come closer to where Daenerys is born and we start seeing the more familiar stories of the Targaryens, we'll hear, pardon me, a lot of those names be recycled, which is cool, you know, whatever. I'm definitely curious to see, we know everything about the Mad King. So yeah, that descent into madness, obviously with just the incest. And I think right now there's not too much going on. Like there is still incest going on because the king, the current king, Viserion, is it Viserion or Viserion? Oh girl, I don't know. The king that we are currently watching in the show as it takes place, I'm pretty sure he's married to his cousin. So there's that. And then you know, yeah, there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. But the show is good. I think the show is really good. Again, it's only been the first episode, so there's not really too much to talk about this time around. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this series goes. I think again right now I'm getting a very political heavy, very mind games, like we're playing the Game of Thrones vibe right now. One thing that made the original series of Game of Thrones so, I think, capturing is that there was a lot going on. There was like a threat. There was something, there was an endgame moment, and that was from the jump, the Night King. There was all these things going on, and then we had the Red Woman and the magic and all of that. I would like to see a lot of these prophecies, the magic, and you know, that threat, that overall threat for Westeros come back. I think for this show, obviously, I think the overall threat is going to be like the downfall of the Targaryens, because all of the Targaryens we've met right now, even Daemon crazy ass, which I could tell he's a little off his rocker, he's just violence. He's not, as of right now, he's not as bad as Joffrey, but he is like a little bit like extreme. But he could be worse, because he's not worse than Ramsay either as of right now. So I think one of the main threats we're going to see is that like bloodlust, violence, and that descent into madness that the Targaryens apparently are known for having. Everybody that we've met so far seems to be pretty sound, but we'll see. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see. So that's about it. I apologize if this video was everywhere, but it was on my mind. I wanted to get it up. And like I said, this is the first episode, so there hasn't been too much that's happened yet. It really is just like the prologue, you know, the very beginning. So as we go on, hopefully I can have much more organized talks about the show and everything. So down in the comments below, did you guys watch House of the Dragon? If you did, hopefully you did, because like I said, there were spoilers. But if you did, are you looking forward to this series? Do you have any, you know, what is the word I want to use? Do you have any, like, I don't know, do you have any weird feelings about where the show is gonna go? What are you looking forward to? You know, all kind of stuff. Just let me know how you're feeling about it in the comment section down below. Obviously, like the video, support me, subscribe if you haven't, because I think now with House of the Dragon, this is going to be a very Game of Thrones heavy channel. So we're going to be talking about it. And I promise I'm going to try to get the names right. If I can't, well, shit. It is what it is. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think that'll be a good source of content. That'll be something we do over here, is really digging deep into Game of Thrones. So I'm excited about that. Also, that's it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. And I look forward to seeing y'all again soon. Thanks for all your support, and bye.